Yo guys, Beast back with some more Beastly content. So this is going to be things you need to do to get stacked while we wait for this next part of the expedition to drop. So first things first, I'm going to say you're going to want to go ahead and get your own portal base. Due to the fact that we are stuck on phase 5 and we now do have access to the base computer, we are going to be able to build our own bases. This will allow us to build our own portal bases. When you build your own portal base, whenever you use a portal, you will actually not have to worry about cost anymore of charging the portal. All you have to do is enter in your glyphs, go where you want to go, return, and be happy. This is why people build portal bases. This is going to be a simple design. Is this going to be a public portal base? I actually think it's located in one of the base systems when you first start off the expedition. So if anyone runs into this, first of all, subscribe to Gotcha Beast like the name of it says. And secondly, we're going to be installing a teleport receiver. So this is another thing you're going to want to do. This will give you access to your inventory while you're away from your ship. What you're going to want to do is smelt down some carbon into some condensed carbon. The next thing I actually began working on was building out my base, but you're also going to be needing something else, which we will be talking about in just a minute. I ended up just using some of the new decorations. I also pulled out the exotic decorations I ran into on Shattered Worlds that we will be using in this as well. I also kind of like scaled some of them down larger than the others and just wanted to do a general design there. I also wanted to be using the pure Ferrite cubes, so the next thing we did was actually head to space. We went to a space station. The next thing we're going to need is some wiring looms. I don't remember the exact ingredients, but I know carbon being turned into condensed carbon was the main ingredient for antimatter. As a matter of fact, it may have been the only ingredient. The next thing you need is wiring looms, which are sold at any galactic terminal and any space station. So get to a space station, go buy yourself some wiring looms. As you can see here, 103 are available here. I went ahead and just bought four. Now, oh yeah, we bought some pure ferrite here as well. Pure ferrite is also a very common thing. However, I have a better method for getting a bunch of pure ferrite right here. This is going to be a refiner recipe. If you're wondering why they gave you 1,000 activated indium, this is why. 1,000 activated indium and 700 ferrite will do about 2 rounds of magnetized ferrite in here in about 3 minutes. That's going to be about that's going to be almost a 999 stack of magnetized ferrite, which will convert into roughly a 2 stack of pure ferrite. This is super duper easy pure ferrite for all your base building needs. I did use one that used a lot of pure ferrite today. However, that is okay. We actually have to do this twice, but is a pretty good, and I mean 2 different times. This is what I mean. Not twice. We did it like 3 or 4 times, so you know what I'm saying. But this is my favorite way of obtaining a whole ton of pure ferrite for very large base builds, as we are doing our entire floor in what is going to cost 100 pure ferrite per piece of floor. It is going to take a decent amount of it. However, I did want to use that material. I haven't done a portal base like this before using this material. We're not going to be putting a roof on it or anything today. I didn't even buy doors. And also, these rooms here are replenishable carbon farms. That means every single time that you use a teleporter to get to your freighter, you will actually be able to harvest them over and over again, as well as harvest them on other freighters when you discover them. We will be covering a freighter farm in just a little bit. This freighter farm is going to be in infinite freighter storage, as well as an infinite amount of times to farm for an S-class freighter every single time you load to your freighter. We'll get on into that in a minute. We also went to our storage containers. I highly suggest getting these built. You're just going to need some sodium. If you need a recipe for sodium, I do believe it's ionized cobalt and sodium. Oh no, actually I think it's like sodium and oxygen. I think oxygen and sodium together will make sodium nitrate, which sodium nitrate can then be smelted down into doubling your sodium. I think I covered this in a previous video, but anywho. So the next thing we did actually was begin to work on our base once again. These are cuboid rooms. They are made out of 100 pure ferrite. What we are going to be doing here actually is taking one and we're going to place it down, and then we're going to use the snapping mode and placing another one underneath it, and then we are going to continue building the floor from the one underneath it, and we'll be able to delete the one on top, allowing for this to be pushed into the portal as best as possible. I could have done it a little better. The portal could have been a little bit easier to access. However, you are able to enter and exit the portal as you are needed. I also did do some work on the teleporter, meaning you no longer teleport inside of the squares. I also used the exotic decorations that I was talking about earlier that are obtainable from Shattered Worlds. We also found this new multi-tool that I think I'm going to have to do a video over because I just absolutely love it. As a matter of fact, I think I've gotten one similar to this. I don't know why people don't talk about alien multi-tools more, especially due to the fact that there's like multiple types of multi-tools, but people only want to use one multi-tool for some reason. I'll also mention, for some reason, the community counter thingy is also back finally. That's pretty interesting, but 28%. Also, I mentioned it's been going up like 1% every 30 minutes just today, and supposedly tomorrow's when the counter ends, so we'll find out. But the next thing I did is go to some miner settlements. You can do this using the maps. If you didn't know, at the space station there are going to be this guy who will be selling maps. He's a third guy from the left of the Galactic Trade Terminal. He will be the cartographer. He is selling a handful of maps. The purple looking map with the purple icon is actually going to be used for finding monoliths. Monoliths are going to be used for finding portals. In order to make the monoliths find your portal, you will need a relic. In order to get a relic, all you need to do is summon your freighter in space. Go to your freighter and sit there and wait for a starship vendor to land. Every single starship vendor will be selling that system's type of thing. So as you can see here, we ran into a pirate battle finally. So when you run into one of these, what I always do and what you need to do is summon your freighter in this system. That way, anytime you warp back to your freighter in this system, it will automatically re-trigger the freighter quest and re-summon a new freighter, meaning that you could get an S-class freighter. But also, when you do not get an S-class freighter, it will be about 250 nanites, some gold, a freighter cargo storage container, as well as some other awesome things. It is super duper easy to max out your freighter storage, and it's also an S-class freighter farm. So if you feel like testing your luck on getting an S-class freighter, just warp to your freighter. Do know if you move your freighter at any point, you will lose that warp point, and you will have to wait for another pirate battle in order to have a warp point to a chance of an S-class freighter. But besides that, it's just a portal away from the chance of an S-class freighter this way. Super duper simple. You don't even need a teleporter on your own freighter. However, if you have a space teleporter on your freighter, you will be able to teleport off of your freighter after you're done, which will allow you to teleport somewhere else and then come back. The next thing we did was go get some salvage data from a miner settlement. Once again, that's the best place to just get some quick salvage data, where we would be buying a fuel source for our portal. You're gonna need a fuel source if you want a portal at your base, and you're gonna need it fueled. I should have bought solar panels and a battery when I had more salvage data, but I did not. I wasted it on decorations and other items I didn't even use in this video, but that is okay. The next thing we did, of course, was begin the power of this thing, which it used a lot of biogenerators. I actually did just a little test run here for a second before building them all under the glass. These will all be accessible through the glass, so if you ever need to use this and you want to use the portal here, you will just have to charge enough carbon into enough furnaces through the glass. It's a little finicky to do, but it is super possible and super simple to do. It takes a minute sometimes if you need to use that portal. It is completely optional portal. You could just go to a space station or another base and use their portal, but I digress. The next thing we did is build these cultivation chambers. Like I said, these all will be giving carbon when you harvest them, so if you build about 10 of them around your already set up little mini thing here, they're accessible on option, but they're not main towards the front. I like to put them around everything that I'm going to be accessing right away so that I can run in there, access it, and leave. Also, right here, like I said, Geklord. This used at a monolith will locate a portal. Also, gamma weed and all sorts of other plants are sold there. After this, I think we would enter into our spaceship, where we would be heading to the space station. Upon arrival to the space station, we would do just a little bit of shopping and then warp through another portal, which would take us to the base. And like I said, I fixed this. This was a little bit of a bug we had with this. This was actually causing us to spawn inside the cubes. What we did to fix this was just using a wood floor underneath the portal would cause it to where we landed on the wood floor. We did kind of change the design a little bit, but that is okay. Also, as I said earlier, when you warp back to your freighter every single time, these rooms will be harvestable. My one gripe is the planter in the center gets annoying and is unnecessary, and I don't even like it. I just love the fact that I get so much free carbon from my freighter. It's a carbon farm and not a nip farm. But we may grow some nip here in the future once we unlock the ability to do that. I think we're going to unlock the agriculture room for the freighter instead on this expedition, instead of doing the base builder way where we unlock the terminal with the, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so after this, we would be heading to the freighter mission, where I'm going to be showing you the exact rewards for completing this. Like I said, after you enter this freighter and you tell them I want my rewards instead, what you will need to do, also you can harvest the carbon here. I did mention this earlier, but I will touch this again. You can harvest the carbon inside of the freighter that we are here. and this is the mission freighter where you can either claim the freighter or you can claim the rewards instead. Go ahead and check the class of the freighter. I actually think this one was a C class freighter, guys. Maybe it was an A class, I'm not for sure. We'll go ahead and check now. Inspect freighter, C class, guys. Definitely don't want it, but we do want the rewards. Cargo freighter, Gek standing increased, and nanites received. This is also a standing farm. You will be able to max out your Gek standing doing this while getting cargo bulkhead upgrades and farming for the chance of an S class freighter. Pretty cool, guys. So as you can see here, we just stick our magnetized ferrite in our personal refiner and we pull out about 1,000 of it at a time so that we can build the floors fast and then also pull more out, build more floors, pull more out, build more floors, rinse and repeat. You get the process, guys. This would allow it to just continuously smelt, only requiring fuel to be added now and again. We then went around part of it and started doing this wooden outline, but then it wasn't lined up all the way and started glitching to the floor, so we just ignored it and filled in the bottom a little bit more, making sure that no one would be spawning inside of our floor and be stuck in there until they found their ship. And it was weird and it was interesting. Your ship's still going to spawn in the center of the portal. I'm sorry, I don't have landing pads unlocked yet. If I had landing pads unlocked, we would be using landing pads, but unfortunately I do not currently have those. But this will be all, guys. Go ahead and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and keep it beast mode. I am out. See yous.